Hey, it's Emmy.
And Amber.
And this is
Death Before Decaf Paranormal.
Alright, Espresso Hoes. We're taking a step back for a second on all the true crime and the absolute crazy story that was Carol Ann Smith to talk about. Amber?
Well, we thought it'd be fun to go into some local legends and rumors.
Ooh.
You know, spooky rumors around town.
And since it's like the last few nice days, well, I guess it's November now, but you know what I mean. Like, it's the last 60-degree...
It should technically be the last,
to
date, it's almost 80. I think it's like 77's the high.
Yeah, well, 77 was the high yesterday, but...
I think
is
it's
it today too?
Yeah.
Point is... We decided that it would be a good time to go outdoors and go on a walk to, I don't know, maybe a nature park?
A nature park?
A nature park.
What?
But not just any nature park. The Harral Nature Park in Broken Arrow.
That's right. It's been referred to as Broken Arrow's best kept secret.
For why?
Because it's so nice and...
It's so nice. Because it's nice for once and...
Yeah, and people don't really know that it's there.
It's a lot, more open and there's,
Well, I think it's because it's less crowded. You know, Turkey Mountain is super crowded because everyone knows about it. That's another...
or Mohawk
kind
Park
of
and things like that.
Nature park around here, yeah. And so it's not as busy, so I think they'd like to keep it kind of the secret.
It's more nature. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's more wooded. It's actually...
There's a word I'm thinking of. It's less tampered with, I guess. It's very, there's a lot more nature to it. It's less human touches in it. It's
Yeah, they pretty much, just made a path in the middle of the woods, and no one has messed with it around it. It's actually a 40-acre park.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, there's 3 miles of trails.
And we walked all of them.
We did. We actually went there in the daytime and the nighttime.
Yep, it was our first investigation where we went during the day and night.
Yeah, so we technically had 2 investigations there.
Yes.
But we wanted to get the lay of the land before we tried to go out there when it was pitch black.
And we still got lost.
Oh, yeah.
But before we go more into this amazing park, let's talk about the coffee of the day that Amber actually provided.
Yes, I love this coffee.
It's so good.
There is a local coffee shop that opened up not too long ago, and their name is Legome. They're really good. They serve these beans, and I've tried several different varieties so far because I've been on the hunt, like we talked about, for new beans because I don't want to go sit in the coffee shops. I want to be able to make my espresso at home. So I've been making a sweep across the city to find the beans I like the best, and so far, this is my absolute favorite in town. It's not a local roaster, but they are a small business roaster. They're from Olympia, Washington. And they are actually called Olympia Coffee. The one that we are trying today is
amazing. It is so good.
It's one of my favorites to date. It is called the La Palma Honey Roast. It is a little bit different. It's unique because the honey process, it pulps the cherry but skips the normal fermentation process, which allows for the sticky sugar fruit to linger a little longer. So basically it just gives it more time to be naturally sweetened by the fruit. Yes.
Which is a really good process. It's a slower process. It's a lot more tedious to do. Literally, coffee is an art. There's so much different ways of washing it, of letting it sit. And so the fact that they did it this way just goes to show they know what they're doing.
I feel like a lot of love and care goes into their beans.
Oh, it tastes like a hug. It tastes like, okay, you know what it tastes like to me? It tastes like, you know, in movies when you go into a hotel and there's the heart-shaped tub and the heart-shaped bed and there's rose petals everywhere and chocolate-covered strawberries and some champagne in the corner or wine in the corner, and you walk in, it's like, wow. That's what this cup felt like.
Yes.
Screw all that, just drink this cup.
Oh, it's so good. It has notes of chocolate, strawberry.
Oh, well, there you go.
And wine.
Well, there you go. That's why it tastes like that. Oh
yes.
My God. It was so good, guys. It is so good.
It's really, what I like about their beans too is it's super velvety is the word I like to use. It's really smooth, really velvety.
You can let it sit on your tongue without being like,
yeah, it's not super acidic.
Yeah.
Which I love. This is
it's a lower body too. So it's, because you can tell by the beans that they're not as dark. So it's a lower body, which gives a lot more flavor.
It is my, like, dream beans.
My dream bean.
My dream
Amber's
bean.
dream bean. This is currently Amber's dream bean stamp of approval.
Olympia coffee. Every blend I have tried so far, or every roast, has been fantastic. It is blowing me away every time. Like, I know Emmy does not like pea berry.
No.
But I had a pea berry from them that absolutely, like, I know you probably still won't like it because you just really don't like it. But out of the pea berries I've tried, including pea berry straight from Hawaii, I like theirs better.
I guess I'll give it a try, but yeah, I really don't like pea berry. I don't know why. Like, I'm always like, oh God, what's the... Oh, pea berry. Like, it's always pea berry to me. I don't know.
I wonder what it is that is just like
know.
your note you don't like.
I don't like pea berry. What can I say? I don't like pea berry.
I don't know, but these beans that we are drinking today, we should tell them how we decided to drink our coffee today.
So today before we talk about that, we just did these investigations. Like, for what we're talking about, we did these investigations 2 days in a row. I don't know about Amber, but I personally have not been working out because of COVID. And so I'm not working out, I'm not going to the gym. I want to, but terrified. So I haven't been working out, haven't been doing as much activities. So going to the park, that's what you said, 3 mile.
3 miles. So we basically did
like
3 miles back to back.
Yes.
Which isn't bad, but when you've not been active.
And it's not just like, these were hills and everything.
Yeah, the terrain. It's very varying terrain. So it's not just like a straight, nice little path. No. They're rocky, they're uneven.
Roots everywhere. I mean, it's nice. I'm not complaining. I loved it. But we decided to not just have, just black coffee with a splash of milk or whatever. We decided to treat ourselves because we were like, you know what? We worked off everything that we ate the past 2 days.
Yeah.
So we decided to make ourselves some lattes. And like, mind you, when we make a latte, I have an espresso machine at home, a really nice one. You probably saw on our Instagram story. It's a legit espresso machine. And when we make lattes, we don't do any more than 10 ounces or even less.
Yeah.
Because Amber and I don't like, giant lattes.
Like giant milky lattes. We want to be able to taste our coffee. Honestly, iced lattes are my favorite way to drink coffee.
So we did iced today.
We did, and
it's 80 degrees.
Yeah, because it's 80 degrees in November.
What? We complained in another podcast that it was October and 80, and guess what? It's November and 80.
Yes! It's just absolutely insane to me, because it was like, I think we're expecting snow next week.
Yep.
Oklahoma is weird,
Oklahoma,
you guys.
guys. I mean, we can talk about paranormal and crime thing. We can never explain weather.
No.
We don't have a podcast for that. No one knows. Not even Travis Meyer doesn't even know.
T-Daddy.
T-Daddy. But, so our process we did. So all of that to say, our process was iced latte. And it was really good. We added a tiny bit of honey.
Yes.
Which, honestly, I kind of wish we didn't. It was good, but I kind of wish I would have just had a plain latte.
I honestly think we didn't need the honey.
No.
I thought it would kind of bring out some more notes, but I don't think we needed it.
No.
It's such a good quality, smooth roast on its own.
A velvety?
Velvety. Yeah. Velvety is my favorite word to describe this coffee roaster.
Honestly though, when I hear velvet, I think of you. So I think out of it, so you had that one beautiful velvet dress.
Oh yeah.
And so I don't know, maybe velvet's just you.
I love velvet. I want all my clothes to just be velvet. Black velvet.
I love velvet. It feels good, but man, when you have a big white fluffy dog, nothing breaks that relationship with velvet than a big white fluffy dog.
Yeah, my dog is tiny and she doesn't shed much.
She really doesn't.
So first of all though, I just wanted to shout out to oat milk because that's how I like my lattes.
Yeah.
I had oat milk in mine. I've recently, a few months ago, during quarantine really is when I started playing around, and I found that I like oat milk in my lattes better.
Okay.
I feel it adds an extra taste, and now when I have a regular latte, it has a weird aftertaste to me. I don't know why, but
hey, there's something wrong with that. So I had a normal milk latte, and Amber had her oat milk latte. I know for me, mine definitely toned down on any bit of little bit of acidicness that was in this coffee. Mine was completely gone. It was completely smooth. All I tasted was the notes. All I tasted was the strawberry and chocolate, and it was just, so good.
Mine was not acidic at all either. The oat milk kind of added a nuttiness to it that complemented the notes really well. And like you had said when you first drink it, it tastes like you're eating a chocolate-covered strawberry.
Yep.
You bit into a chocolate-covered strawberry. If you just hold it in your mouth, you're like,
We actually finished them. It was too good to wait, so we finished them. They're empty, sitting here. I'm sad. We thought about making more, and we were like, no, we need to calm down, because we don't need multiple shots of espresso. I do.
We do, but
Not
we both had like plain old lattes this morning because we can't function without them.
No.
And then so add another latte on top of that. We're kind of like, add in our exhaustion from the last 2 days of hiking for hours and hours, like 3 hours each time.
So we had iced lattes, very good. I don't know, I really enjoyed this coffee. Like, I wish that they were here locally. Like, I wish it wasn't in Washington.
But they're still a small business, so I'm super excited to support them. And luckily, one of the coffee shops around here does serve it. I'm not positive that they sell their beans online, but I would guess so. It has a website here, so they're olympiacoffee.com, like Olympia, Washington, Olympia Coffee.
And in the video, this is where I would put Olympia Coffee and put in the logo and stuff.
Exactly.
Boom, boom, boom. Done.
Boom, boom.
All right. Well, I think we can now talk.
Get in it.
So, let's talk about Harral Nature Park.
Harral Nature Park. I used to go there with my now husband when we first started dating.
Yes.
We used to walk around there quite a bit. I actually had my first date.
Wait, because it's right next to us. Like.
Yes, there's actually a exit. There's various different exits and entrances there, and one of them is straight into the back of his then neighborhood. So we would just like go from his house and take a walk in the woods at night. How cute, but it was not.
How cute? I don't know if that's cute. But...
Well, our first date, so I didn't know him very well. Like, we worked together. We met at Blockbuster.
Oh, rip.
Blockbuster.
Salute to Blockbuster.
Okay, that was like the best job I've ever had in my life.
Blockbuster was great. I'm so sad they're gone. Like, I miss them. You know, honestly, like, during quarantine, they should have came back because
we're back, baby.
We're back, baby. Everyone would be like, Redbox who? I got Blockbuster.
Oh my god, I wish. That, like, is seriously a dream job. My dad had a career with Blockbuster for, like, 30 years or something.
Oh my god.
And then I started working there, and my husband, whose name is Bill, he trained me. So we were, like, brushing arms, putting the tapes back on the shelf. It was so gag-worthy, but... So I was working until, like, midnight at the time, because Blockbuster, you know, was up until, like, midnight.
I actually didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. I think most all of them were open till midnight.
Wow.
So it was...
And how are they not open anymore?
I know. It was some late shift, so I was asked out on the date, and I was working till midnight, so we're like, yeah, we'll meet up. So he took me to IHOP, and we got an ice cream. Which, why? Why do you ice cream at IHOP? Like, that is a house of pancakes.
They have ice cream?
Apparently. I've never got it since, but we got...
gotten a waffle at least.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Waffles
Their pancakes are good, too.
Like, I'm sorry. I know IHOP's like a franchise, but damn, they got some good pancakes.
They got some good cakes.
They got some cake.
Some cakes.
So yeah, you went and got ice cream for some reason.
Well, we went to IHOP because it was the only thing open because it was after midnight.
Right, okay.
And then we went there, got ice cream. Didn't eat the ice cream, either of us, which now I'm like, he must have really been nervous because he eats
that guy eats everything. Bill, I'm friends with Bill too. Like, I've been friends with Bill since high school.
Yeah.
And he eats everything.
And he's like a freaking board. He's like 6 feet 6 or no 2. 6
he wishes.
6 feet 2. That's right.
Something like that.
Like that. But and he's like super. Anyway, that's that would be a lot.
Damn.
That's besides the point. Anyway, so he decided, oh yeah, so I'll take her for a drive, and I'm like, okay. And then he decides to take me into this nature park, which, as you'll find out, is quite creepy.
Very creepy.
Especially at night.
I've never been to this park before. This is when we did the investigation, it was my first time, and I will never be back.
Yeah, I mean, maybe during the day. It
nope.
really is nice.
Not after what we heard.
Yeah, that was interesting. But he took me out there, and it was like 2 a.m, and we went for a walk in the nature park, and it was like closed and everything, so we're the only people in there. I could have gotten murdered.
Oh, for sure.
I'm shocked I didn't die.
He could have just stabbed you right there and threw you in that murky creek.
He could have.
No one, like, all right.
No one would ever have known. And I look back at myself now and I'm like, wow.
You dumb bitch.
I was so stupid. I watched all the true crime, all the horror movies, but this guy's like, oh, I like you, let's go out to the park. And I'm like, okay. Like, I was so stupid.
I mean, that you always said that he looked like
Mick Jagger.
Yeah, he looks like Mick Jagger.
Oh my gosh.
Which you're in love with.
Yeah, young Mick Jagger at least.
Oh, duh.
I'm not as into old Mick Jagger.
Everyone's like, oh god, she likes him old.
Well, his face got real wrinkly. I love Mick, like, all my love, but he aged weird. But Bill,
damn! He aged weird.
He did, but I love him. So Bill looked a lot like Mick Jagger.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I was just so swept off my feet. And so I made some dumb decisions. But luckily, I didn't die, and now we're married. It worked out.
He didn't kill me, so I married him.
Yeah, he didn't murder me, so I decided to marry him.
And you said so that was your first date, and then you said your first kiss was there too, right?
Yes.
And that was quote-unquote bridge.
Oh, yeah. But
You're like, it's a bridge. I'm like, bitch, this is a road with some, like, creek next to it.
I thought this was a bridge. On he always referred to it as a bridge, and in my mind, it was this nice little, like, romantic little bridge on top of a stream.
Shut up, no, guys, it's literally a road. The road is, like, oozing off the sides, where there's, like, this gross, like, murky, like, probably sewage creek.
Okay, but to be fair, this was 9 years ago, and 9 years ago, it was not as swampy, but it was still sketch, but it was not as swampy.
But it wasn't a bridge. I'm just saying it was a bridge.
I just got it in my head. Bill's always like, yeah, on the bridge. He always referred to it as a bridge, but...
Anyway, so we went to their first kissing spot, which was okay. And
well, just because we casually passed it, and we weren't like, let's go to my first kissing spot.
True. I would have not agreed to that.
I know,
I'd be like, why am I here?
Exactly. Anyway, so my husband used to walk through there all the time, so I first discovered it 9 years ago, and things got creepier in there as time went on. And
did you go in there more than once with him?
Yeah, I went in there. We used to night walk through there a lot. And I was like, oh no, I'm so brave. Like, you know, I'm putting on this, like, face, like, because I'm still, like, caring if he likes me. And
yeah, we've all been there.
And it was creepy. I definitely had some of my own personal weird experiences there. And I know my husband stopped going after one of his big experiences, which we'll talk about in a bit.
About later.
But let's go into the nature park.
Let's go into the fact, who is Ray Harral?
Yes.
Which, by the way, Ray Harral is spelled R-R-A-L-L? Or is it one L?
I think it's 2 R's, 1 L.
Okay. Point is we stared at that sign, and we're like, Harral?
I know.
And we, like, asked Google, we're like, what is it? And it's like, Harral. Okay. So anyway, who was Ray Harral?
Okay, I'm just gonna call him Ray so I don't mess that up. So Ray was the assistant city manager at the time of his death. He passed in 1984.
Okay.
He had a reputation of being committed to, like, leisure activities and park facilities. Like, he really tried to get them going and keep them maintained and stuff. He seems like a good dude. He helped design and develop the Indian Springs Sports Complex, and he was a retired highway patrol officer, I guess. But people...
I started liking it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm kidding.
But people, apparently he was a good dude. And the nature park was being developed when he passed away. And so the city council named it after him in his honor. Because he was super, like, parks were his thing, I guess. And they're like, this was a good dude, let's name this park after him.
That's nice of them.
So that's why they named it after him.
He's a highway patrol. Listen, I'm not like trying to, like, diss on cops. It's just the highway patrol.
Yeah, they really they go out of their way to get you. It's like, you're going 2 miles over the speed limit. How about
you don't?
Yeah.
How about you don't and you pay me anyway?
Oh
I'm sure he wasn't that way, but in Coweta,
oh god,
they're so bad in Coweta. Well, your husband knows. He got.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, my husband got a ticket because he was like going like 2 over on, and it was because it was a hill. He was going down the hill, and his car like got momentum, and he wasn't like just slamming on his brakes. And then as soon as he hit the bottom of the hill, it was like.
Yeah, that's just how they are. Like they'll.
Well, they gotta meet their quota.
Well, exactly, and like, anytime there's like someone being pulled over, there's at least like 5 cops behind them.
They're like, oh, I'm gonna get credit for this one too.
Like, I don't know how that works, but like, it's definitely.
Anyway, point is, he was He was a good dude, as far as I know. And so the nature park is, as I said, it's a 40-acre park. It's got 3 miles of trails. Some of the trees are like close to 100 years old. They're,
wow.
Yeah.
You know, that actually makes sense because there were some really big,
like
big
sturdy boys.
big old boys.
Big old boys.
Big old boys.
So
big, thick boys.
They were thick with 2 C's, guys.
They were IHOP cake.
IHOP pancake
cake.
Oh gosh,
okay.
man, we're digressing.
I know, like
one.
this is gonna be one of those episodes.
Yeah, like sorry in advance, but
No,
if you don't want to
not.
hear us just shoot the shit about crazy stuff, then this is a really cool park, as we talked about. So there's an old natural spring system, which like remnants of that are still in like the lake with air quotes.
It's not a lake.
It used to be more of a lake, and it like. I don't know what happened, but it's tiny, low, swampy water now.
Well, okay, though, like, in Oklahoma, there were quite a bit of lakes in Oklahoma, like, quote-unquote lakes, like, basically, too big to be a pond, too small to be a lake, let's call it a lake.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of those, and then a lot of them have disappeared and changed, because, like, my parents' backyard, their whole backyard and that pasture behind them used to be a lake.
Right.
And now it's just a little pond.
I found out my grandpa's house too, his used to be a lake, and that's why the foundation is like kind of sinking.
I actually think my house here, my new house, because I moved, is also a lake, which is why it floods really bad.
I bet that makes sense. So basically there's this natural spring system. In 1909, Broken Arrow started getting their water from the freshwater spring down there in the park, before it was a park, just the woods. But it was actually the first spring house in Broken Arrow. It was where they were getting their water. It was their source. Woo-hoo! Yeah, it was the source of Broken Arrow's water. So they've got that. There's like benches. There's some like picnic areas with like a shelter thing on top. They actually have, it's super cute. They've got some pollinator gardens.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I love it. So they have little like monarch garden, they called it, and it was feeding the bees and the butterflies, and
they had like a really cool like I don't know what they're called, like nature park houses. I don't know what they're called, but like it's when you go in and you like read about
kind of like an office.
What is it called?
Nature Center. So they have this really cool nature center that has an indoor, leading to the outdoors beehive.
Yes, it was so cool. Like we just walked by it and I was like, I heard like a little zzz, and I looked and I was like, oh, what? There's bees. And they had like a little sign. It's like, don't worry, we can go outside. There's little too. It was really cute.
It was cute. You could see them like making the little honeycomb. And,
I was like, thank you. Because of you, we got to drink this delicious coffee.
Yes.
Take care of the bees.
Save the bees.
Save the bees.
So it was really cool though. And they had a little bat information display, which made me really happy.
Oh, yeah, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Because of Enchant Tea, if you haven't heard.
Yes, my business plug, Enchant Tea and Body, is my tea company, and my little logo is a bat. I love the bats. They're my favorite animal. They're very, very important to the environment. And they had a little informational... Wow.
Not gonna plug me.
Oh, and Emmy did my logo for my...
I don't want your, I don't want your pity plug.
Okay, I was super into the bats. I was like, bats though.
No, that's fair. But yes.
But Emmy at Emmy Jane Arts did my logo.
Yes, I did. Okay. Anyway. Point is that they had a cool bat area, and also, like, wasn't it, like, Employee of the Month, and they were, like, the possum, and I was like, yes! Because I love possums so much.
She really loves
they're
possums.
So cute, and they're, like, they look so goofy.
I would say they're probably your favorite animal. Bears. Second favorite animal.
I was like, bears are my favorite.
Okay,
you take that back. I love possums.
You
bears.
talk about possums a lot.
I do. Because we don't really have bears here. We kind of do, but, like, not really. We have possums. I know we got possums.
We got lots of possums.
But anyway, the nature center was really cool, and I don't know, like, we walked in, we were taking some, like, cannon shots of, like, just, like, of everything, like, the whole front of the park. There's, like, a statue, and, like, you were talking about the monarch garden and everything.
Yeah.
And we were just standing there and we kept being like, all right, what do we want to do next? And we just couldn't make decisions. And we finally both were like, I really have to pee.
Oh, yes.
So we went to the nature park and we were just like, or nature center.
Yes.
And
we stopped by there to go to the bathroom. And then as soon as we walked in, we were like, but wait, there's a bat thing, there's bees, there's possums.
Also, we forgot we had to pee. So it was
Yeah.
really cool though. And like,
it was really neat and informative. Like, I definitely recommend checking it out if you go up there, because it was really neat. They had a thing that showed how when we litter, how that impacts the environment, how long it takes for each different thing to break down.
And they simplified it for kids too.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey kids, this is, which is really important. Like, I feel like we should teach our youths that, because obviously, like,
right, I think it's definitely important to educate like kids on the environment. So
and bats.
And bats, they're so important, guys.
Save the bats.
Save the bats.
And
the bees. Save everything. But yeah, so we went in there. It was really cool. There's also a old pump house on the grounds.
What is this?
Which is, it's like a small building that keeps,
I wouldn't call it small.
I mean, compared to like,
okay, compared to a house,
like,
yeah, it's
or
small.
a barn or whatever. It's smaller, but it's to keep the water system pipes and stuff. I think it's got like the pressure tank, and the pressure control switch is under there normally. It is like a necessary part of the water system. A well house was like a common outbuilding in the days before electricity.
Okay.
And I think it has something to do with like the well house and then like the system that goes to the well house. Or,
to like keep it from freezing and stuff? Or?
Yeah, it's kind of like protecting its stuff.
The main source, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like we had said, like Broken Arrow was using this as like the water source, right?
Yeah, so I'm not sure. That probably relates to the natural spring, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
We're engineers, though.
No, I don't know. We're not technical.
We're literally starting a podcast and we drink coffee all day, like.
Yeah. I have no idea. But there is a pump house there. You may know better than me what that is, but
it's a pump house. Pump it up.
Pump it up. So that's kind of a little bit about the park. But as I was digging, because I know from personal experience, mine, my husband's, Amy's mom even had experience there. Kind of. I don't know if that was as much paranormal as just like, what the heck. But there are some like legends. If you dig into it, there are numerous like rumors. So there's rumors about the KKK meeting where the park now stands, which, boo, get out of here.
Get out, get.
Go on, get.
Go on, get. Go on, get KKK.
Maybe we had too much coffee, guys.
Nah, never such a thing.
No thing. Okay. But there's rumors of that, which, boo. And then there are also rumors of satanic cults meeting and having sacrifices in the area.
Which, I mean, we kind of got a little bit of evidence that may be true.
Were there sacrifices here?
That may be true, yeah. It would definitely be.
It definitely has that vibe.
It has like, that vibe, and it's very desolate at night.
Yes.
So you could go in there and.
Oh man, can we take a break on this? Because real quick, we said we went during the day and night.
Mm-hmm.
And when we went during the day, I was like, oh my god, this is such a pretty park. And, like, I was just like in awe. I was like, wow, like it didn't really spook me out. Like, there were moments where like we had like cold spots and like definitely felt like new pressures, and we were like, okay, this is definitely something.
Yeah.
But overall, like, it was just a really, really pretty park. And then at night, totally different game. Like, we looked at the same spots. We were there during the day, and they looked so different. And all of a sudden, the park seemed so much bigger.
It's almost like everything warps at night.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely
felt... fear or fae? I don't know.
I don't know. There was definitely some weirdness. It feels like a totally different place if you were to go at night. And these occurrences that are rumors and things that are personal experience happen at night. And
like you said that like satanic rituals happen. If I recall, at the Hex House location, there was possible rituals there too, correct?
There were possible ritual, because she was looking into like ritual magic, but that doesn't mean it's ritual. Like, that's just something that you would practice.
Yes, but I know like after.
There could have possibly been sacrifices, like, no, during is what we're talking about. Cool. Basically, I think a lot of it related to the dogs that were found and how those could have been sacrificed to something that she believed in or whatever.
My point with that was, I felt when we went to the Hex House location, I definitely didn't feel like there was like satanic ritualness going on.
No.
I don't, I didn't feel like that kind of energy. This park can't say the same.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm like, nope, I could definitely see this happening here.
For sure.
It was really interesting. But there's also, so people have claimed to hear chanting, screams, whispers, laughing.
No.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Laughing. You'll see why we forgot about that. But laughing, whistles, and footsteps or like running behind them. People think this park is seriously haunted and that the rumors are true about it.
Which, with our experience, I can confirm.
Yeah, I would think so. I definitely, we experienced a lot of these things that people are claiming, and some people think that the city might be covering up its sordid history.
Which I think is true, because when we went to the pump house, again, so we went during the day, and then we went during the night. We went during the day, it was just Amber and I, because it was safe. Then we went at night, we were like, hey, that's not safe, so we brought our husbands. And Bill said that when he, what he said, 9 years ago or something like that, he said that he went there and the pump house was covered in graffiti. Covered in it. When we went there was 2, 3, maybe.
Yeah, they're
hardly
painting
any.
over everything. But it could be an effort to clean it up, make it look nice.
But why would you paint over something so old? I don't know. And then, if there was, some old signs of, people saying, KKK meeting or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And they're no, we don't want to talk about it. I don't know. I definitely think something was covered.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because you can't really find much history on the area before then. It was, they'll tell you about the spring house and being 1909 when they got their water, blah, blah, blah. And I guess at some point it was also used as a Christmas tree farm.
What?
Which is odd. I couldn't find what year or what about that, but there's not much about it.
There was no pine tree.
I know.
Oh wait, didn't Bill say there was a whole area that had a bunch of dead pine trees?
Yeah.
We didn't go over there.
We didn't go in that area.
Because it was 10:30 at night and we were exhausted.
Yeah, by then we were.
But yeah, there is an area where it's a bunch of dead pine trees. I bet that was the farm.
I bet that was the farm, and I couldn't find much information on it. And even if you just Google the park now, there's hardly anything. There's some TripAdvisor stuff and about it being a nice place to go. And
which it is. Everything we're saying, it is really pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful. Go during the day and you will have a wonderful time. Dogs are allowed as long as you clean up after them. It's a wonderful little trail. But my husband got scared off because of a big thing that happened with him. And man, which story should we tell first?
I say, since you're already talking about him, go ahead.
I would say I could tell mine because yours will lighten the mood up a little bit.
Well, mine isn't really a personal experience, so yeah, let's start with yours.
So Bill used to walk in there alone at night very often.
Because what else are you supposed to do when you're a teenager?
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go walk at night. And so
I'll take my girlfriend here.
I know, but he would frequently hear a lot of sounds what he refers to now, he kind of coined the name the Whistler, because he would hear these weird noises that sounded like a whistle or someone trying to whistle. Yeah. But he's watched numerous animal videos.
I actually did some digging because I was I didn't tell you this, but I was actually trying to find some kind of creature, fey creature that does whistling to kind of lure people, because I've heard of it. And when I did that, they were whistling pig, and I was like, what the hell is a whistling pig? It's a groundhog.
Yeah.
And so I found a YouTube video of all of the sounds that those made, and I was like, hey Amber, you should see if Bill heard any of this, and he was like, oh no, that's none of them. So before anyone goes, oh, is it a whistling pig? Which, if you say that, I've never heard it called that. So yeah, it's not that.
Yeah, and he did digging on his own too. He's very, very skeptical. So for him to be no, I can't explain this is interesting, but he would hear it all the time, which was odd. He had tried to figure it out. So he would also hear whispers and footsteps behind him frequently. And I can confirm.
Well, yeah, no, that happened to us quite a bit, so.
Yeah, but his main big thing that happened that made him go, okay, I'm going to stop going at night by myself. And he hasn't been there alone since then because it freaked him out so bad. So one night he was walking the park alone. Stupid, but.
She's allowed to say that.
Yeah, I'm allowed to. So he started hearing weird sounds that were different from the whistling, but also the whistling thing on top of that. And it was coming from behind him, so he got to like a fork in the road. And there's like a million forks in the road.
Yeah, when we were there with him, I was like, is this the fork in the road? And he was like, no. And I was like, is this the fork in the road? And he was like, there's a lot of fork in the roads. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in there though because of that.
We got lost during the day.
Yeah, we got lost during the day. So at night, that's one reason I brought him along, is I was like, he can guide us because he's been back here at night so many times.
He kind of did.
Kind of. Good enough. We would have got lost without him. So he came to a fork in the road. He went a certain way, and it guided him over to like the water area. And he kept walking along, and he was hearing these weird noises, and then it started hearing it like in front of him and behind him. So that's intimidating. And he's like, I'm just gonna walk along the water, and he's like, it's probably nothing. It's probably just animals, probably rustling, whatever. And then all of a sudden, he was by this pond area, which we saw that he pointed out when we were there.
Oh yeah,
a little past that big tree.
Yep.
That he heard what sounded like someone running across the water, like
splashing, yeah.
Like splashing towards him. It was very loud. So that freaked him out. He ran off. He like went towards the exit. He was trying to get out. He found the suspension bridge, because there's a suspension bridge there that's really
pretty, and we'll like post pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
and, like,
we'll
show the footage of that.
So he crossed the bridge, and it went like dead silent. He heard nothing.
Yeah.
And then he looped around to go back in his neighborhood, but he had to go past that other entrance, and then all of a sudden he just heard like this very loud, like the weird whistling sound, just screaming loud
all
from
around
the
him.
woods.
He said,
yeah. So he freaked out. Yeah. Obviously, anyone would, and took off towards home. And he's not one to scare easily, so.
And if I recall, he said that he didn't even like go through the park again. He went like off on like the roads, like the
yes,
actual
I believe he went off the suspension bridge and then through the school, because there's a school right there in front of the park entrance, and then he went around. Yeah. But he had to pass another entrance as he was going towards his home. Yeah. And he has not been there alone since, and he won't go alone.
I felt like when he was there, like in the beginning, he was totally chill. But as we stayed there longer, you could tell it was like affecting him. Like not like in a in a negative way, but not in like he was acting bad. But you could tell he was getting like the memories were coming back, and he was getting uncomfortable.
I think he was getting anxious.
Yeah,
I could tell,
yes.
like kind of
That's me has anxiety. What's the word?
What is it? Yeah, I could definitely tell he was getting really anxious as we were going farther in.
Well, and I'm sure like we were kind of us three. Because my husband has never been here either, and he honestly didn't really want to come because he is not. I wouldn't say he's a skeptic. He's ignoring. Like he just doesn't want to think about it. So he was not thrilled to come. But he did come. He came. He's like, oh, I want to help and everything. So I do feel like Bill also had the weight of having to guide 3 people plus him through this forest.
Yeah, like we're relying
on him.
That
been at like. Years.
I mean, I know he went after we were dating still, but it's got to be at least
like
6 years.
Yeah.
At least 6 years. So we're relying on him not to get us lost. That's pressure. So I don't know, but it was definitely weird.
Just weird. Yeah.
Just weird.
So
but that was his main big experience, but he would often hear those things.
And like him and I have some mutual friends, and he went there with those mutual friends, and they had similar experiences. Just, hearing, I don't know if they heard the whistler, but they definitely heard the footsteps, and I think one of them said they heard the whispers at least.
Yeah, and I actually heard the whistling when I was with him before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which we didn't hear any of that during our investigation. No. But I
thought I did, but I'm pretty sure it's just like, it was like a squirrel or something.
Yeah, I don't think it was that because I didn't notice it. But
and the way Bill described it, it wasn't like I think a whistle, I'd be like that.
Yeah.
Or like that. But he said it wasn't. He said it sounded like almost like
someone trying to whistle but failing at it.
Yeah. So I did not hear anything like that.
No, but I can confirm in the past I did hear that with him on multiple occasions. One time we ran out of there together.
Well, yeah, he was probably like, no.
Yeah, because we started hearing the sounds, and he visibly was kind of shaken by it, and I was like, okay, if he's scared,
I'm no longer brave.
Yeah, bye, let's get out of here. So yeah, but I can confirm the whistling did exist at some point, whether or not it's still there.
Yeah, and we did not catch any of that on our footage. We looked through all that and did not catch it, which I'm a little bummed about, but I was also kind of glad about because I was not looking forward to hearing that. Because one of the things we came into this whole podcast is Amber and I were like, all right, let's lay some ground rules. And we were like, first, we want to be COVID safe. First, we want to be respectful. And then I was like, and also, we don't want to F with demons. And here we are.
Yeah, we're like, oh, satanic rituals?
Why not? Let's
Sign
go.
us up.
But in the end, it was okay. Like, I mean, we don't F with demons, but I didn't feel... I mean, I'm not I'm not scared of demons, really. So, I was fine with it, but at the same time, I was a little freaked out. And I got freaked out in the beginning, the adrenaline of like, woohoo, going night investigating, this is fun. About halfway through, when we got really deep in the woods, I was like, I'm not having fun anymore.
Right, yeah, I was excited at first, but the farther in we went, the more I was like, like, we got in some weird terrain, we were, like, pushing branches out of the way, like, we were, like, ducking under
woods,
big, like, trees that had fallen over. It was...
having to retrace our steps because, like, Bill, he knows where to get to places, but then we would go somewhere and he'd be like, oh, no, this looks completely different, because, like,
It'd been so long.
Well, yeah.
Things grew differently, or trees were gone, or,
yeah,
whatever.
or, like, trenches, so it was fun, though, but like we said, we walked so long.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Towards the end, my husband was being really quiet. My husband's named James. I'll just say James.
Yeah.
James was getting really quiet, and I was like, you okay? And he's like, I'm just so tired. So it was just a long night.
It was a lot, especially back to back for us. I was just like, oh my god, I'm so
no.
sore, I'm so tired.
You would think we would like learn from that, because we tried doing like a recording right after the Hex House, and we were like,
Yeah, we were so tired from our investigation.
But here we are, again.
Here we are, 3 days in a row.
Well,
Let's go.
I know for me, it's because I'll forget.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it too. I want it while things are fresh in our minds.
Wow, yeah. I mean, like, we literally, right before recording, listened to all of the evidence we had.
Right.
All right, well, I mean...
Your story.
My story. So, my personal story is not personal. I have never been to this park. Never even heard of. I mean, I've heard of it through Bill and the mutual friend we had. And they basically told me, don't go. I was like, all right, I ain't going. Like, don't have to tell me twice. I'm not going. So I didn't go ever. But I found out my mother did, which is shocking because my mother, I'll probably talk about it. My mom's always had, like, some paranormal stuff that I found out. Like, she actually had things in her past.
Oh, yeah. We're eventually going to do an episode where we talk about our past and our family's past and kind of what got us into this.
Exactly. What got us, like, intrigued into the paranormal. But for this story, my mom, we used to have a horse named Rio. Yeah, Rio. He was a stubborn horse. He was also very lazy. He was not he was the least horse.
That's funny.
So he was really cool. But anyway, my mom used to go horseback riding with one of her friends, and when I was telling her about this park, she was like, is that the one off of Bill's, like, family's house? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, I've been there. And her and her friend used to go horseback riding there. Used to go through, and it's like a good trotting trail and everything. And my mom just had a bad feeling about it. She said it felt very suffocating, which we felt. We felt that multiple times during the day and night.
Yes, I agree with that.
So she said it was very suffocating. And then when she goes, yeah, I feel like I'm like being suffocated. Her friend was like, oh, well, have you not heard? Like, yeah, there's like satanic stuff here. And my mom was like, excuse me? Mind you, my mom was like, very religious. And right then they were trotting along and they go over an actual, like, not fresh, old pentagram on the ground. A huge pentagram. And my mom freaked out and was so scared. And her friend was like, like, hey, no, nothing to be scared about.
It's during the day.
During the day, we're safe. There's nothing to be scared of, like, and it being really, like, encouraging. My mom started feeling really calm. And then Rio took a fat shit on the pentagram. A big fat shit on the pentagram. And my mom was like, he's like, demons are gonna come after me because my horse took a shit. So that's my story.
I just love that story. It makes me laugh every time.
It's just like Bill and you. Oh yeah, we heard like weird whispers and some whistling. And I'm like, yeah, my mom's horse took a shit.
On a pentagram.
On a pentagram. Yes, on a pentagram.
That's the important part.
That is important because when we went there was like no signs of any.
No, nothing we could find at all.
And like we even like Bill, our tour, we'll call Bill our tour guide.
Yeah.
Bill, our tour guide, was like, we were like, hey, take us to like where any of these rituals were held. We looked at 2 locations, and he was like, this one is really deep in the woods. And we looked at the woods and we said no. So, because it's really thick woods.
Yeah, and it's pitch black in there. There's no lights inside this.
No.
I mean, it's straight woods. So I was like, I'm not about to go. I'm clumsy. I will fall.
Well, like, it was, by then we were there for already like 2 hours.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So we were exhausted. Anyway, but we went to one area that was a little bit more off the trail. And he's like, oh yeah, no, that right there is a possible like ritual spot. And I laughed because during the day I had just walked in there. I was like, oh, look at this cool area, and I just walked down it and just casually walked down in there, and it was a really cool like little spot. But I wouldn't say it didn't feel like any satanicness to it.
Yeah, well, he was saying that you used to go past that spot onto some sort of log over to another like raised area across the way, which now is inaccessible. Like
100%.
It would be very hard to get over there. You'd have to be crossing the water. Yeah, it was just not safe, so we did not mess around trying to go in those areas.
Which is fine. It's fine. I mean, it was a little bummer, but there was so much more to this place than I expected. And then again, like we had said, like it felt warped because when we walked during the day, it was like, oh wow, this road connects to this road, and that connects to this, and this entrance to that entrance. So it felt very small, especially when you're looking down at a map on your phone.
Right.
But
You're
when
like,
you're
yeah, we're right here, so we just need to go around here and over there.
Yeah, no biggie. But then at night, whole different game.
It was like you're stuck in like a maze or something.
When we went during the day, we started in the main entrance where the nature
Center,
thank you. The nature center is, and the pretty park with the statue, and there was also kids running around screaming. So we started in there, we went down the steps, and so that's where we started off during the day, and then at night we went through the neighborhood exit, I guess is what it is.
It's an entrance or exit, yeah. You can go back there, but I don't know why anyone would go park in a neighborhood if you don't live in the neighborhood.
Exactly, if you don't live there. So, but we went during the day. We went through the main entrance,
right?
And right outside of like the main trail, we thought it was a train at first. I thought it was a train because like I saw it, I was like, "What is that?" And I found a little trail to get there, and it was like this offside train-looking thing that had like bullet holes in it and like giant slash marks. But then Bill told us later that it was, what was it again?
He said it was an abandoned like oil tanker.
That's right.
That at some point, at some point the trucks, like it was a smaller truck because this is a long time ago.
Yeah. That
they used to go through there for some reason. He said something about filling up or something. I don't know, but
it's so weird.
I know, I don't really understand, but that's at least the rumor. Then people have said that this is what it is. That it's an abandoned oil tanker that got left there, got damaged or something, and was left in the park. But
it looked like a train to me. I'm sorry, like the way the feet were.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't confirm exactly what it is. Rumor is it's an oil tanker that was abandoned.
Emmy's theory is it's a train, so like a part of a train. But we saw that during the day. But when we went there at night, Bill was like, "Oh yeah, there's the oil tanker," and we were like, "That's not it."
No,
because it looked just so different.
Yeah,
like, warped completely. Looked so much bigger and weird, very weird. But I guess we can talk about kind of like
our experience.
Yeah, because that's as far as history, that's pretty much all there is. Because pretty sure everything else is covered.
Yeah, they're really. I mean, I did my usual little deep dive into stuff, and
which I mean, if you ever hear from listening to the Hex House, you know Amber does her research and gets every detail she can. So the fact she couldn't find anything else on this, kind of suspicious.
It's odd, yeah, because it became a park in like what was it, 1984 or something like that.
Something
but
like
then
that.
I don't know. I just could not find anything. So that it's all gonna be based on our stuff. But places that have legends and local rumors surrounding them are gonna be a lot of times less informative.
Yeah, and like especially here in Oklahoma, like that's why we started this podcast, because there's so many different rumors and suspicions and things like that of not just true crime, but like of actual paranormal activity, because in here we are in the what's it called, the Bible Belt.
Yes.
So it's a very religious state. So a lot of times when there's paranormal or anything of like satanic ritual, they tend to get brushed aside of any of that.
Or if anything that like makes them look bad, that makes
Yeah.
Oklahoma look bad. They
Or not
sweep
religious
that.
enough, yeah.
Yeah, they sweep that under the rug, and that's what I found with a lot of these legends and rumors. Those places are kind of wiped of history, and
which is so sad. Like,
yeah.
I wish we could find out more about it, but there isn't. Nothing we can find right now.
Yeah.
So we'll just go ahead and dive into our experiences. So I guess we'll start with the daytime since that was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Because everything's fresh, guys. We're sitting here exhausted because we
So tired.
So 2 days ago, we went during the day. Walking into the park at the entrance, there definitely was like this ethereal feeling of like, not ethereal, like, I don't know the right word. There's definitely an aura about the place.
Yeah, I feel like it has its own energy or whatever to it.
Yeah.
You just feel, whether it's just, wow, this is like such an old forest and it's so natural, the terrain. It felt like you were out in the woods, like you're gonna go camping or something.
Yeah, but it also felt like there was just so much unknown history with it too.
Yeah.
You kept saying that, like when I was looking over evidence, or we both were, there was a lot of times where you kept just feeling like there's a lot of rich history here that we don't know.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
I wish I could find more because I'm really curious about its history. I mean,
if any of you guys know anything, or like if you decide, oh, what, I'm an investigator, let me look up stuff.
Yeah, I'm bored. Let me just look up things.
Like if you can go to your public library and look it up or something, please do, because
we would like to know more.
Yeah, because interact with us. We're totally open with that. Like, we want to make a community of this. This isn't like just us gabbling along.
Talk to us, please.
Dabble and gabble here. We're just
dabble
talk
and
to
gabble.
us. We're just trying to talk it out and like make a community of this. But
yeah, because that's what we're so interested in this, and we just want to be able to like talk and share our theories and experiences. And so if you know anything or you want to find out anything and let us know, please do. I feel like the fact that was Broken Arrow's source of water at one point, it was like significant. It's a significant area.
And the fact that like I've been living here for 25 years. The whole 25 years of being alive, and I've never heard of this place.
I had never heard of it until Bill, and he'd only heard of it because he lived in the neighborhood. So it's like, that's what everyone says is Oklahoma's best kept secret, and it is a wonderful, wonderful trail.
But why is it
during
secret?
the day? But yeah, why is it? Is it just because they don't want it to become too populated? Because I think that's the excuse they're using, is they don't want it to become too populated, where so where you're like packed in like sardines, you can't comfortably run it. Or it starts getting,
vandalized.
littered and vandalized and touched by humans doing stupid shit.
Like they showed in there, like all the plastics that how like much gets polluted and like how it doesn't decompose properly. They just don't want that to happen. But we digress. We were talking about our we found the oil, whatever, and we definitely felt drawn to it. A lot of the evidence we have right now, quote unquote evidence, because like we had said before, like we said before, there's no actual evidence when it comes to ghost hunting. I'm just gonna say it. It's all speculation, or this kind of sounds like this. There are a few solid things we caught, and a lot of really creepy things. Still get shivers about it.
Tearing up.
But for the most part, I would say during the day, we did not get a whole lot of evidence.
Yeah, there was a couple interesting occurrences, but nothing to like write home about.
The weirdest thing about during the day was every time we walked into an area and we felt that pressure, that something's here. Like a shift in the wind, a shift in the temperature, or whatever. We definitely felt something. And we would try to interact with it. And as soon as other people were walking down the path, we would stop recording, we would take a break, and wait for them to pass. And when they passed, we didn't feel it anymore. It was totally gone.
Yeah, it was almost like whatever's going on, once you isolated.
Yeah.
And that's when you're in a group of 1 or 2 people is when these experiences are occurring for most. And I feel like, I don't know why, but it definitely, we would be interacting with something, and we know something was there. And then the minute someone else came walking by, it was just like okay.
Even to the point where we would use the spirit box, and right before we turn it off, there would be a voice, and we turn it off before we can actually hear the voice.
Yes. Yeah,
and that was really annoying. But for the most part, we were actually, speaking of bummer, we were actually pretty bummed when we left, because we were like, man, we didn't really catch that mustard.
Mustard.
We didn't catch that much. So we decided to go during the night. Because we weren't going to go during the night. Because that was actually, I said, I want to go during the night.
Yeah, because I was like, we can go. And Amy's like, no.
I actually was against this whole thing in the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, we were, after, like, saying, we don't have with demons, and Amber was like, oh, we should go to, like, that park near Bill's parents' house and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no. Because I had heard from our mutual friend and Bill about this park, and I didn't want to go, but here we are. So I was like, okay, we're not going during the night, and then here we are.
Yeah, then it was her idea. Like, I was trying not to push it. I was like, yeah, we'll just go during the day. It's fine. And then after the day, she's like,
you did say that, you didn't push it, but you did say there were definitely more experiences at night.
Yeah, I was just stating a fact.
Shit, she's right. And so we did decide to go during the night, and we were like, well, we're not going to go by ourselves, because again, like we said, we're two girls. Unfortunately, in today's society, two girls cannot walk alone at night anywhere.
Yep.
So, we brought our husbands, which honestly, that was fine. I was fine with that.
Yeah.
Especially with Bill.
Right, because I would have gotten lost. I don't know about you, but...
You did get lost. We did get lost.
We did. We got lost during the day.
Yeah, we were like, I was like, is this where we're supposed to go? And she was like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, let's go.
I'm really bad with maps. I can't even read a normal map. I'm like,
And towards the end, I made a joke, like, I'll show it.
Well, according to these arrows, I don't know what that means. Oh, wait. They're color coordinated.
Okay, blue. Wait, no, blue's where we went. Green. Green's that way.
But like, I made a joke about these arrows, and I was like, oh wow, look at these arrows. I don't know what this means. And then when we just wait, they're color coordinated for the map. We was towards the edge. Like, we didn't realize it in the beginning. And so we would have probably been able to map that entire area if we would have caught that. But we were just like, doo-doo-doo.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, we decided to go at night because during the day we didn't catch anything, but we definitely felt things. Like, I definitely, like, again, I'm going to remind everybody, a lot of our quote-unquote evidence is feeling. Take it or leave it. Don't care. So we definitely felt there was something drawing us to go to the park again.
Yeah.
So we decided to go at night, and that's when the creepy stuff started happening.
Yeah, it was quite the experience.
So, where to start? So
that's what I don't know. We went in through the neighborhood entrance instead of the main entrance.
So we went, basically it's the opposite side.
Yes, the other side of the park.
Side. So we ran into the
pump house.
So that's the first place we went to, is the pump house. And so we decided to do another session there because that's actually where we got the most activity during the day.
Yes.
On our ghost box and everything. Mm-hmm. But the first time we went there, we didn't catch a whole lot.
No, not much.
Like, and Boo, unfortunately, once again, we brought Boo Buddy, and he didn't catch anything. Maybe one day he will. Maybe a future place that we may go to soon.
Yes.
In the books.
He's gonna be perfect for this
place. But for this place in particular, he was not perfect. He just sat there and looked cute. We love him, but he didn't do his job.
He was a good little companion, but yeah, unfortunately, as much as we were like,
touch the bear!
Play with our bear!
The ghosts were like, no, ew, why? Why would I touch your bear? So, but we brought him, and we tried a bunch of different sessions at this spot, and didn't catch much. And that's when we started, like, as we kept going deeper in the woods, there were moments where, once again, we just felt like a pressure change or felt drawn to go to a certain spot, and we would try to do sessions, and Amber and I started noticing that with our husbands with us, it was doing the same thing like it did during the day.
Right, so we decided that it would be best for us to try to, like, separate a little bit from them, have them hang back, because, you know, we would have that experience during the day. We're like, well, it looks like the same thing's happening.
Yeah, like, it obviously doesn't want, like, more than 2 people.
Right, because with them there, it was just, like, dead silence.
Dead silence on the spirit box, which normally we get quite a bit of things on that. So, like, with not hearing anything, we were like, oh, dang, maybe we did have more footage from the Hex House than we thought.
Yeah.
Just because there was, like, absolutely nothing.
Right.
But, so as we were going in, and there was, like, a ton of footage of us going through, like, so many paths and getting, like, kind of lost, getting a little freaked out. We definitely, like, towards the end, when Amber and I were like, okay, let's do, like, separate sessions. So we found a big tree.
Yes, I was really drawn to the tree because...
During the day, too, actually.
Yeah, was I?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We walked by and we were like, wow, this tree
You know, you're right. I did do that. I don't know. Something about it. It was definitely a very, very, very old tree.
Oh,
you could tell. And it's right behind the tree is like this weird kind of like.
It's like it's a bunch of brush that goes down.
Yeah, it goes down into the creek area. So we decided to stop there and start doing a session. And we're like, okay, guys, hang back.
They went
be
pretty
quiet.
far.
They did. They went far.
We still had to tell them to shush.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They're loud, but we had them totally silence themselves, and we did a session.
And we don't like to talk about it.
I don't like this part. This part is like really.
Look at us. We're like, we're ghosts. Like, we want to catch ghosts, and then we find a ghost, and we're like, oh. But I say a ghost, but I don't know if this was a ghost, guys.
No, we got to talking about our theories, and after discussing it, we realized that it was probably some sort of
demon. We'll just say it. Which with the satanic rituals and what Bill experienced and my other mutual friend experienced, definitely probably demons. And I think personally, the thing we're going to talk about now is specifically an imp. Like, if you look up imps, they're these little devils that are very mischievous. They like to play pranks. And that's something that we noticed with this particular spot, was we would be talking to the spirit and we kept hearing different voices around us that our mic and camera did not pick up.
Yes, we were hearing different voices. We were hearing different noises coming from all different directions. Like, this was obviously something that was...
like, deflect our attention.
Yeah, I think it was it was taking joy out of messing with us.
Yeah, because, like, it came to a point, like, there was a point where it threw a nut, and or like, a rock or something, and it bounced off the trees and, like, went all different directions. And I went... okay, we're done. Like, are you messing with us? Because, like, we were trying to be respectful. We kept saying, like, please, can you touch the Boo Bear? Please, can you talk to this?
Yeah, because we approach every, like, sort of thing like that very respectfully.
But then when we kept hearing noises, I personally started getting more aggressive. I was like, okay, hey, if you're gonna, like, play pranks, we're gonna leave, because and then Amber was like, yeah, no, we're too tired. We don't have time for this.
I'm too tired for your crap right now.
Yeah, and it was, like, that's exactly it, because we were just done. And right then, when we were like, was that you making that noise? Like, what do you want? In the faint distance, we heard, hee hee hee. A little giggle, and I'll post it.
Why are you here?
Why are you here?
And it was like a clear little giggle.
Not like a children's giggle either. Like a little,
I wish it was a children's giggle.
Like,
that would make sense, but this was like a little like the only thing I could think of. I don't know if you played Zelda games.
Yes, I thought of the exact same thing. Yes.
Okay, so if you played Zelda games, specifically Twilight Princess, Midna's little like laugh was what we heard.
Yes, I 100%. That's exactly what I was thinking.
That impish, like, kind of like mischievous giggle.
Very mischievous, trickster,
scary
giggle. And I felt like something was in this brush in front of us. A lot of it's feeling and a lot of things that I like.
I mean, it's nighttime, and so we kept seeing things because that's what night vision does to you. And unfortunately, like, we brought our ghost camera, but the part that makes it night vision actually when it got out of batteries.
Yes.
So we just had a basically normal camera with
flashlights.
And so, like, we were like, oh great, we're like every, like, scary movie right here.
Yeah, it was really...
Until dawn.
Oh my gosh. It definitely felt like very similar to that. But I just got this weird feeling that something was laying in the brush. And, like, I swear I could see their little glowing eyeballs. And it just, like, in my head, what I was thinking was, it reminded me of, like, Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Which, if you look up imps, you'll see some forms of imps look like that.
I was not even thinking about at the time. I just said what I was kind of feeling. And, like, I just felt like something. There were several times that I was like, is that you down there?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, I just knew that it was there. And it was kind of a warped, like...
feeling. I don't know how to describe it. It was just, I felt so small.
Yes,
It
that's
felt
really
so
good.
small next to this giant tree that during the day was just a beautiful tree, but then like being there during the night and dealing with this imp just made it feel so much like larger, and I felt so tiny. And what I hated the most was like when we were trying to talk to this, what we thought was a spirit at first, and then soon found out that was a demon. Because one of the number one signs for me was we kept asking on the spirit box and just in our recordings,
Yeah.
like, what's your name? What's your name? Over and over again throughout this park. And we only got one name, which we'll go into later. But every other time, we didn't get any names, which
is odd, because every investigation we've done so far, and that we've asked that question, we've gotten various names.
Yeah.
Like with the Hex House.
Or at least even a sound, like someone responding.
Or just like, you know, like... like...
Girls. Like...
Right, like you hear some sort of attempt at speaking.
Yes, attempt. But not this.
Not
It was
this.
like every time we asked, it was like they deflected it.
Yeah.
Which demons, if you look them up, they don't want you to, like you were saying.
No, there's power in knowing their name
Uh-huh.
and putting a name to them, and they don't want you to know their name because then you have that power
Yep.
over them.
So we just got, honestly, we got kind of sick of this little imp.
Yeah, it was at the point where we were both getting very frustrated because
We were tired.
we were tired, and it was so obvious that this, if it was an imp, if it was a demon, if it was a spirit, who knows, but whatever it was trying to mess with us, and it was taking pleasure in seeing us getting angry and frustrated and
Spooked,
scared.
everything.
I just got that feeling that it was just, sitting back there, like we heard the little giggle, and it's like, I felt like he was just like,
Yeah,
like
like-
sitting back,
Like, just messing with us. And, like, honestly, like, hearing the laugh freaked me out, but then I just got mad. Like, I was like, you little bitch. Like,
because we audibly heard this laugh.
Yes.
Before, like, it was not even us looking at our evidence. We did capture it.
you actually could hear me going, like, I heard that giggle, and I tried to, like, amplify that part, and I couldn't hear it then.
Yeah.
But you heard the giggle, like, earlier, and I think a little at the end. So it was definitely toying with us.
Yeah, and I feel like it followed us quite a ways too, because
Yep.
we're like, nope, we're done with this crap. Let's get out of this area. And then the farther, like as we were going along, we kept hearing noises from behind us.
Footsteps and, like-
Yeah, we kept hearing footsteps from behind us, and then like different noises coming from different sides, which I feel like was a tactic that is common in all of these stories, that they're hearing things. I feel like it's trying to confuse you and
Yeah,
gets you
exactly.
disoriented and like,
It makes you feel like
intimidate you.
It's the freaking Lost Woods. In Legend of Zelda, it's the Lost Woods.
Yes,
because
yes.
it's Skull Kid. Let's just say it's Skull
It
Kid.
is. Oh my no.
It is the Skull Kid.
Bill used to set that as his alarm, and in the morning he'd be like, and I'm just like, I hate it.
Maybe that's why. Maybe it's freaking Skull Kid. I don't know. But yes, what Amber was saying is like it kept following us, and it actually was I was personally getting so mad.
She was
I
like,
was like my
shaking.
whole mood, like not in a scared way, in like a oh my god, just like leave us alone.
Yeah, if you're not gonna be nice, if you're not gonna like cooperate with us,
Yeah.
just like go away.
Yeah, like we're not interested anymore. Like you had your time,
Mhm.
we're not interested. And like Bill was trying to show us that area I was talking about where the ritual was.
Yeah, possible.
So he
ritual
was
area.
there, and I just kept flashing the light back to where we came
Yeah,
from.
I would be like, following along with Bill, and just because, as I've said before, my tactic of scary things or things that bother me, I'm like, ignore it, and it won't, like, mess with you.
And then go to my husband.
Yeah, so I was like, nope, I'm just gonna ignore these sounds behind me and these footsteps, let's just keep going, and Amy's like, oh, like, what are you doing?
I'll fight you. Like,
Get
I'm
outta
very
here.
in a fight or flight. I'm the fight. She's the flight.
Yep.
So, or straight up ignore.
Yeah, I'm like, nope, I don't
So,
see you.
but I kept like shining the flashlight because it kept trying to get my attention, and I heard them. I heard the laugh multiple times
Yeah.
after that. And at that point, you wonder, did I actually hear it? Is it in my head?
Right.
And I just was getting like agitated, and my husband just put his hand on me, and he was like, "It's trying to do that." He was like, "Let it go." And so we finally just were like, all of us, like majority of us, like Amber and I, and my husband, were like, "Just go away, get."
Go on, get.
Go on, get. We just kept saying waiting to, like, for it to leave, and finally it did. Like, it finally was like, okay. And, like,
it took a bit. It followed us for
oh
a
my God.
while, and I was just like, nope, I'm not gonna. I was ignoring it because I knew
I started doing that, your tactic.
Yeah, because I knew it was wanting us to get mad and frustrated and make us think we're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, nope, I'm not giving you the pleasure. You're not there. Bye-bye.
And when she started doing that, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do that too. And we all did. And eventually it just stopped.
Yeah, because it wasn't getting what it wanted.
There was a couple times we went to the suspension bridge.
Yes.
There was a couple times where
I felt like it was there.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, and I'll go ahead and, like, fast forward. When we left for the night, like, when me and my husband we all drove separate, I asked him, like, what he thought and everything. And, because, you know, he's an outsider. He doesn't know if he believes, he's kind of in the middle.
Right.
So I asked him, like, what he thought, and he goes, well, I definitely think there were two somethings. We'll just say spirits just because we don't know.
Right.
Two spirits. One, he said, was mischievous, very teasy, just wanted to rile us up. He said, but there was another one that was definitely hiding in the shadows and didn't want to be seen. And I was like, okay. I was like, was it shy? And he was like, oh, no. It was sinister. He's like, it definitely wanted you alone.
That's what I definitely think maybe it's something to do with the Whistler thing.
Yeah.
Like, when Bill was alone, and the fact that he got scared of it tells me it was like a sinister thing, because he's a fight, not flight. Yes. And so
him and I were walking in the front.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, so I was like, no, I didn't want to be the very back though. I needed to be the middle. Yeah, it's just, I feel like maybe that was the thing. It wanted to isolate you, and if you were isolated, then it could start playing with your mind, right, or like chase you, because it seems like chasing's a prevalent thing here.
It's like a form. It wanted to torture at some point.
Yeah.
And so, and I, like we had said, we just finally decided to just be alone. And so as we were going down, and like we were like, okay, well, we want to go to the oil thing again, because when we found out it wasn't a train, it was some kind of like oil truck thing. Whatever.
Yeah, we're like, oh, okay, it's something different.
It's something different. So, well, maybe if we say it by the actual name, we can get more evidence. So we did, and we actually did pick up some stuff on the spirit box of like and unfortunately, it's so frustrating. But when we in person, we asked like what I said. What are you? And then Amber said, what's your name? Mm-hmm. And clearly on the spirit box, it said David.
Yeah, we heard it audibly, but unfortunately, like, I give sufficient pauses between the questions because you want to.
Oh, yeah.
And it had been a very long pause. And so we're like, okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. So I started asking another question. I'm like, did this, something. And as soon as we started that, that's when it was like, David.
Yeah, I said David, like really casually, David. And we, like in person you hear it, but on audio it got, messed up because we were talking over it. So I can't show it. I've tried, you can ask Amber, I tried to like alter it and like adjust
what we
it.
forgot to say is when we were there during the daytime at that one, when we were doing our investigation, we felt pressure on our chest.
Oh, that's right.
Remember? We both felt very intense pressure on, like, your chest, like something was crushing you.
Yeah, so we started thinking, that's right, because we were wondering, we were trying to communicate to the spirit. This is during the day, so rewind. During the day, we felt like we were connecting with the spirit. They were like, oh yeah, like, were you crushed? Because we felt like we were being crushed under something.
Yeah.
So we were trying to, like, communicate with that, and then unfortunately, we got interrupted by people.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so we've had that feeling, and we were like trying to ask some questions while we were feeling that way, and then two people just were walking the park and walked up, and then as soon as they were out of range and we could investigate again,
nothing.
It was like the feeling was totally gone. But I mentioned that because this time we were talking and we got the David and a few other light things I think we picked up, and it sounded like something was kept trying to talk to me, like I kept hearing, like the
well,
like
a lot of things we picked up that were more clear.
Yeah.
It was a lot of voices that kept saying, like, what? Speak up.
Yes.
What was that? Like, it was a lot of, like, them asking. Like, we were like, it was funny because at one point, one went, huh? What'd you say? Or something like that. And then we went, huh? What was that? It was like, there was, like, something, which is interesting, that there was something blocking us from talking.
Yeah.
And then, and one of the EVPs we got, and I'll go ahead and say this really fast, that wasn't on the spirit box. We didn't hear it in person.
Yeah.
I had not heard it at all. My eyes are watering right now. But on the EVP, it caught a voice, because we were like, say something in the microphone.
And it was just a voice recorder. We didn't have the spirit box going.
We didn't have the camera going. It was
just a voice recorder.
And so we were like, speak in the voice recorder or touch Blue Buddy, because we had him up. And we're like, just give us something. And right when we said that, a voice, a whisper, I almost missed it. And I was like, no, I heard something there. I amplified the audio, and it said,
or say something in this voice recorder.
Listen to us.
Yeah, it was like straight horror movie sounding, because it was very clear. It wasn't like in the spirit box or anything. It was just the listen to us.
And it was clear. Like after I amplified it was clear.
Very.
Like we couldn't figure out the first word, but it definitely said to us.
Yes.
And so we were like trying to figure it out, and finally I was like, it says listen. Which, if we can't hear other spirits, it's almost like the demons, I'll say, the demons were like blocking us from being able to communicate.
There was some sort of communication issue between us and whatever was there, because it just, I felt like they couldn't hear us sometimes, we couldn't hear them sometimes, we were trying to communicate to each other, but something was getting lost in translation.
Honestly, I'm not trying to diss on our podcast already, but like this episode is very scattered. I will say that.
Yeah.
We're jumping all over the place. That's what it felt like. I felt like
chaotic.
It was very chaotic in just like trying to do sessions and trying to communicate, seeing things, hearing things, and now even trying to talk about it and wrap our brain around everything we heard. It's just impossible.
It's hard, yeah, and that's why, like you said, this episode's definitely more scattered, but it's just, that was the feeling when you were there. It's just like, almost like you were trapped and running in circles, and you're just like, trying to figure out where you are, and just like, is it here, is it there, is it where, it's just like that feeling you get in your chest.
Lost
you're just
woods,
like,
man.
But that was really interesting. And then when we were talking at the gas tanker and we got the David and a couple other things, we both started feeling a very odd feeling, like a hand around our throats, which could be another way of them wanting to silence us, because we both, like, she grabbed her throat and looked at me, and I'm like, oh no, I'm feeling that too.
Yeah, and you and I had a similar experience back where we used to work together at a place.
Yes.
And there was a situation, I won't go into details because we don't want to drop names, but we worked at a similar place, or the same place, and there was a employee that walked in, and there was just something off about them, and we were trying to, like, ignore it. And then all of a sudden, I was like, I just got an uneasy feeling. We both looked at each other. The hairs on my neck raised. And I was like, okay. And so I just started silently, like, praying. And as soon as I did, the air got sucked out of my lungs, and I started feeling like I was being choked. I ran outside and gasped for air.
Yeah, and I ran after her because I was like, what just happened?
Because you were feeling the same way.
Yeah, and we ran out, and then we actually took a break. We're like, no, let's go get coffee or something and just take a second, because I don't want to be in there with that. Like, something is wrong.
Something feels off. And then later when we came back, we took an even longer lunch than we were supposed to.
Yeah,
and
a lot longer.
Yeah, sorry. And we came back, and that person was like, hey guys, sorry, like, I'm better now. And they were, and this, like, whatever we felt was gone.
Yeah.
And so, but point is, like, that's the exact feeling I felt, which, demon to me, and that's a sign of demons. And so as soon as we felt, like, it felt like someone came behind me and put their fingers
and just
in.
grabbed. Like, have you guys watched Haunting of Bly Manor?
Yes.
For me, it was like Lady of the Lake,
yep,
grabbing your throat, not letting go. You have that grip on there that's no way to get it off. And it was just like, that's what I imagined. And honestly, I got a lot of those vibes in that, like something was going to come out of the brush of the water area. And that's where I felt the weird.
Which, I mean, we don't know the history, so maybe there is something like Violet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but
Violet or Viola?
Viola.
Viola. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Viola, yeah. I feel like that's just the feeling when I pictured. It's just like that hand around your throat that's not letting go. Like, it's so.
And because we don't F with demons, as soon as we felt that, we were like, all right, bye.
Yeah, we both looked at each other. We both
grabbed
our throats,
David.
And we're like, yeah. We're like, okay, bye, peace. And we went back and joined the rest of the group and moved on because we.
But we definitely got more evidence and more interactions when our husbands were standing away from us. And then when we walked back to them, a lot of times they've said, oh yeah, no, we heard something. And Bill was really like, I was just an animal skeptic.
Yeah.
But James was like, when we went over, like, separated.
Right.
We were walking. I asked James, I was like, what'd you actually feel? He goes, oh no, there was a shift, and like, there was this, and like, he's like, I heard this voice.
Yeah.
And there was,
I think it was messing with them too, whatever it was.
It was messing with all of us.
While they were separate from the group. Yeah, I think as soon as we separated, it was like, okay, it's go time, you know? Like,
and then like, there's so much other evidence we got that I'm just having a blank on, but like,
yeah.
one of them is definitely like, we asked like, was there a ritual here? And the girl gasped.
Oh, that was the most audible because we didn't hear it when
Nope.
we were in the moment. We didn't have the spirit box going. It was
Nope.
just the voice recorder once
Or
again.
it was a spirit box. I don't remember, but it was not.
No, I think it was. I don't think
it was not. No. We did have the spirit box going. It was not going through the spirit box though.
Oh yeah, it sounded like someone
like when you
was
have headphones
right next to you.
Yeah, and like when you have headphones in your ears, you can hear it in the right ear more than the left ear. So it was like it was on our right side, and instead of it, being like coming from the device, where it would be like surround.
The gasp when we had asked about that was when we were at the pump house and we asked about the sacrifices.
Right? It was during the day.
I think that was during the day even, yeah. And it we just got some really interesting stuff, and I'm kind of drawing a blank too, but I know that the laughing, the
impish laugh, I remembered one. No, I remembered one. Whoa. On the suspension bridge.
The knocking.
Yes,
I was gonna get into that too. When we were on the suspension bridge, we still had that weird feeling that impish creature was there,
something else,
or spirit, or whatever. We don't know, but we heard this very knocking.
So like in the audio, it just sounded like I actually thought, I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure like a nut fell or something, because it is autumn, so I thought like a nut fell on the bridge, and then Amber was like, I don't know, it sounds a little different, so I went ahead and amplified it, and you could hear a nut falling, but then you heard just like that, like a little knock.
Yeah, there was, and we had also heard a similar knock when we were by the tree. Remember, we connected that. So the tree had a knock. I think the tree might have been the 3 knocks.
I thought I heard you say don't.
And then when we were on the bridge, it was like 5. It was like doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, it was like da 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 da. Like
it almost sounded like it was coming from maybe beneath the bridge.
What's weird is like we didn't hear it. We didn't hear the knock.
We didn't hear the knock.
We kept saying like, give us a sign, do this, do this, do this, and it kept being like, okay, I'm knocking. Why aren't you paying attention? And I was so mad because I'm like, oh man, if only we paid attention and actually heard the knocking,
we could have
been like, okay, we'll knock 2 for blah, like But, and then there was the other part on the bridge where we heard someone walking across.
Yes.
Because the bridge is really creaky, and you'll hear it in our evidence. Mm-hmm. It's very like, because it's a suspension bridge, which if you don't know what that is, look it up. There's no bottom part of it.
Yeah, it's
creepy,
very,
scary.
and there was some loose boards. Yeah, so at one point you can hear, like, we're standing still. Our husband's way on the other side of the bridge.
They're not on the bridge.
And, yeah, they're not on the bridge at all. They're past the bridge. And then we just hear the creaky steps coming towards us. So
from the other side. Like,
from the other side, not where they were. And I just, we got the laughs, we got the whispers, we got the footsteps, we've got
the creepy, like, saying, listen to us.
Yeah, oh my gosh. That one really.
That one probably, like, I would say that one, and there was, like, we got something on the spirit box where it said, like, God or something like that. There was just a lot of weird...
Yeah, you were like, who is here? And it sounded like almost like it said God.
It was weird. Then, I don't know.
Dead.
And we were like, what happened here? And there was a long pause, and it was like, dead. Like, just like dead. I'm dead.
I dead.
I dead. But something, I'm just gonna, that we can go back and forth on this. We'll talk more in our videos and stuff. Like, our evidence video, I'll, like, show more of, like, what we were talking about.
Right.
Because Amber and I, we both are just having a hard time with this chaotic situation. And something I'm noticing, though, is that every time we talk about something, we connect, and it's just a giant circle.
Yeah.
It's like, that whole place is just this, like, circle, like, it's almost like a limbo circle of going
that's
through.
A good way to describe it, because
it's
that's what I was kind of trying to put into words, saying about how it's like you're in this endless trap circle,
because everything connected to the first thing, and like everything was connecting to something of like, oh yeah, we heard knocking here, but it was on the whole clear other side. We heard laughter here, but it was on this side. It's like we just kept repeating the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And then we just got so tired and done that Bill was like, do you still want to go to this like other part? And we were like, no, we're tired.
We were ready to get out of there. I mean, it had been quite a while, and we were
I had to pee.
Oh yeah.
So there was just so much weirdness with, you know, like the previous podcast we did, there was just a weirdness of the story.
Yeah.
There was and we were actually, jokingly enough, we were worried that this wasn't going to be a long enough episode, but it's one of our longer ones.
Yeah, because there wasn't, you know, much history at all behind this place. So I was like,
secret.
Yeah, so I was like, well, this is no hex house. I can't go tell you this insane story about the place that, you know, is recorded to have happened, but it turns out this is a lot more to it than we thought.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about the limbo scenario. Like, I was trying to think of, like, okay, clearly there's, like, some kind of demon. I kind of had a feeling there was some kind of demonic power there, just based on the stories I've heard.
Yeah.
And then going in a group and not getting the same evidence or getting, like, you know, a name or anything like that, it was a different experience than the previous ones we've been on that told me that it was definitely demonic. And so, but I didn't even think about the limbo aspect of it, that like when you go in, it's just like the Lost Woods in Ocarina of Time. If you go through the wrong tunnel, you get back to the beginning.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Like we did one wrong turn, we were back to where we started.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And even when we were on track and weren't getting lost, I still felt like
I was stuck in the same loop.
Stuck in a loop. So I don't know what happened there in the past.
It definitely messes with your brain.
Yeah, that's what I felt like, and I felt it was chaotic, it was confusing, it wanted you to think that you were going crazy, because there were several times I stopped and was like, well, I think I feel this, but I was like, but I don't know, like, maybe it's in my head, maybe it's just playing tricks on my mind.
But apparently we were feeling the same thing.
Yeah, so, it was an interesting one.
It's an experience, for sure.
It was quite the experience. If you want to go during the day and check out the park, I highly recommend walking through it.
Oh, because, it's so beautiful.
It is beautiful, little hidden gem of Broken Arrow, and it's wonderfully kept. It's nice. But I would not recommend going out at night. No. Please don't. If you want to go right before sundown, great.
That's fine,
but get out as soon as it's dark. Don't
do it. Don't do what we did, because we're exhausted.
Don't F with demons, guys.
This honestly is probably going to be the closest demonic thing we're ever going to do.
Yeah, intentionally.
I know, yeah. Like, I mean,
we knew that there could have been demonic stuff here, and we went anyway. But if we go somewhere else and something happens, it happens.
Well, yeah, like, we're not going to go to, like, what's it called? Like, Witch's Peak or something like that.
Oh, the Witch's Grave.
Yeah,
I just don't want to go there because, there's curses that supposedly have occurred to people there.
You told me about all that, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with curses.
And I actually mean this no, not this park no.
No.
The actual no.
I know. I don't want to mess with the curses. I'm really superstitious in that way, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But it was quite the experience. It was interesting going into a legend and rumor area, not something with a rich history. But let us know if you guys liked that.
Yeah, because, I mean, we'll do more like this. We try to find things that have more history and more story behind it, more true crime, just to kind of get, like, more to talk about. But if you liked how this was, we'll totally do, well, not exactly like this, but we'll do more things like this.
Yeah, let us know. I mean, there are a lot of locations across Oklahoma that have rumors surrounding them or urban legends that kind of are in every town, it feels like. But there are lots of those out there that we could go to. We just kind of avoided them because we want there to be a good story to tell. Because we don't go out expecting evidence. We go in and want the story to be able to
we don't want to be bored, so why would we want you guys to be bored?
Yeah, exactly. So
you come for a good time, and we're not gonna, just make some pancake jokes and be like, all right, bye. No, we want to make sure we pique your interest with this story and whatnot.
Definitely. So let us know if you like this. If you didn't, that's fine.
That's fine.
We'll stick to some more
literally
historical places.
Our first couple of podcasts, we're still learning.
Yeah, we're definitely still learning. So let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of. And as always, if you know of any place in Oklahoma or the surrounding areas, we're not opposed to going out of town slightly to see places. But if you know of anywhere that has a rich history and true crime, or just like a really historically prominent place, or
just has a weird feeling.
Yeah, if you felt odd there, if there's rumors of paranormal happenings and witnesses to that, if there's legends, tell us. Communicate with us. We would love to go check out some interesting places we may have not heard of.
Also, if you're interested in knowing more about our family and like what we had talked about. We were thinking about making a whole podcast about everything that happened with, you know, Amber growing up and me growing up and just like our paranormal experiences. Let us know if you like are interested in that, and we'll do an episode on that. Also, if you guys want to comment your paranormal experiences, maybe we'll do a little episode reading about those. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a little
Reach out to us.
mini-sode
Yeah.
reading your stories and what you've encountered in your life. We would definitely be interested because we love hearing that just in general. So,
and again, we're trying to make a community of this.
Yeah,
so.
we want to be a little community. So please communicate with us. Let us know if there's anywhere you want us to go. Let us know if you've had some crazy experience. Let us know if you want us to tell our story, if that's something you're interested in. I could honestly probably make an entire episode.
Oh yeah, I don't even
about
have to,
mine.
like, I'll put 2 cents in mine, and she'll be like, "All right, here's a 2-hour-long thing about mine."
Yeah.
We may have to do a 2-part for yours, honestly.
Honestly, it may have to be 2-part because there's so much that goes with that story.
So
but
let us
I'd
know.
love to share it.
Yeah, let us know. And with that said, I think we can end this episode because I am drawing a blank to anything else.
That is the chaotic, weird mess of a story of the Harral Nature Park.
But yes, so with that said,
Until next time, stay spooky.
and caffeinated. Bye, guys.
Bye.